We view brand building as surface polish, crafting the perfect message. But beneath that surface, a complex operational machine is turning, and those internal corporate gears rarely align as they should. In corporate strategy, there is a pervasive assumption that managing a brand primarily means managing positioning, messaging, and visual identity. This focus on expression fails to predict real financial outcomes. You can articulate a flawless narrative, but if daily operations run counter to it, the narrative collapses under its own weight. This creates a familiar paradox. An organization might execute award-winning marketing campaigns and possess intense market focus, yet consumers still view them as generic, unreliable, or confusing. We have to redefine what a brand actually is. It is not an intentional communication layer applied over a business. It is the terminal output of how that business operates. This blueprint illustrates the beliefs-to-choice system, mapping the causal chain of market dominance. Beliefs, decisions, actions, signals, meaning, and choice. Notice the boundary in the middle. The transition from actions to signals is where internal alignment becomes customer preference. When a brand appears fragmented to the market, it is never a failure of marketing execution. It is always a symptom of unaligned internal mechanics. To understand the internal engine, we start at beliefs. These are not aspirational HR values. They are the leadership team's shared, rigorous logic for how the company creates value and wins. For example, one executive team might believe value stems entirely from intimate, bespoke customer ties, while another believes it comes from massive, standardized operational scale. Those core assumptions act as the ultimate filter. They dictate every subsequent decision, from how capabilities are developed to which market opportunities are pursued. High-performing organizations make these beliefs explicit and enforce them rigorously. Typical organizations leave them entirely implicit. When beliefs remain unspoken, that central ambiguity splits into divergent vectors for product, sales, and marketing. Without shared logic, each function optimizes in isolation, pushing efforts apart. Crossing into operations, these vectors become jagged and uncoordinated, the exact origin of brand fragmentation. We have now reached actions. This is the stage where internal decisions are operationalized, engineers build features, and sales teams engage prospects. You cannot force coordination at the action stage. If there is no shared foundational logic at the belief stage, the resulting operations will always clash. Customers have zero visibility into your leadership alignment or your strategic roadmaps. The only variables they actually experience are signals. Every action produces a specific signal. Pricing communicates value. Product quality communicates competence. Customer support communicates reliability. A brand is never a single, clever piece of copy. It is the cumulative aggregate of thousands of operational signals absorbed over time. This matrix visualizes the brand constellations framework, mapping where internal decisions shape the brand, spanning product, pricing, promotion, and placement. Systemic tension occurs when these nodes conflict. If you establish a premium position, but sales aggressively discounts to hit targets, the signals cross. Inside the building, this feels like normal departmental compromise. To the external customer, the variability is glaringly obvious. You cannot patch this with localized marketing. A sleek new ad campaign will never override the reality of the operational signals you emit daily. Structural inconsistency produces mixed signals, and mixed signals immediately compromise a customer's ability to trust the organization. To understand the impact of mixed signals, we have to look at behavioral economics, specifically how individuals make decisions under conditions of uncertainty. The research reveals that humans rely on heuristics. These are mental shortcuts formed by repeated exposure to recognizable patterns. Look at this model of cognitive processing. When a customer receives jagged, inconsistent signals, it triggers ambiguity, forcing the brain onto a pathway of high perceived risk. When signals are uniform and synchronized, mental effort drops, building confidence and guiding the customer toward low-risk understanding. This brings us to meaning. Meaning is entirely independent of what a company intends to communicate. It is strictly the conclusion the customer draws, based on their experiential pattern. When that meaning is clear, it generates mental availability. The brand comes to mind readily and effortlessly in buying situations. Extensive market data from Kantar supports this. Brands perceived as meaningful, different, and salient consistently outperform their peers financially. Ultimately, customer choice is not won by the loudest marketing. It is awarded to the brand providing the lowest cognitive friction and perceived risk. This is the fully integrated beliefs to choice system, linking internal corporate mechanics directly to behavioral science. If we reverse engineer the model, the objective becomes clear. To capture customer choice, you must change the meaning you hold in their mind. But meaning is dictated by your aggregate signals. To change those signals, you must align your cross-functional actions and decisions, and that requires a unified set of internal beliefs. For strategists and consultants, the imperative is absolute. Effective brand management does not happen in the communications department. It operates at the level of core beliefs and strategic decisions. The system serves as a diagnostic tool to locate exact upstream breakdowns. You can identify whether the failure stems from unaligned leadership assumptions, an inability to translate those assumptions into hard decision criteria, or scattered execution on the front lines. Attempting to refine your visual identity or your messaging architecture before securing this upstream logic is a waste of capital. If you want to dictate what customers choose, you must change what the organization consistently does. A coherent presence in the market is purely a mathematical consequence of coherence inside the business.